The rain hammered against the windows of our small cottage in the Cotswolds, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. For 20 years, Alaric, a simple clockmaker, had loved Bronwyn with a devotion that bordered on worship. We'd met at a local fair, her laughter as bright as the summer sun, and I'd been captivated ever since. Our life wasn't extravagant, but it was filled with a quiet contentment, the gentle tick-tock of my clocks a soothing soundtrack to our days. Or so I thought. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Bronwyn, always an early riser, began sleeping in later. Her usual cheerful greetings became curt, her eyes often glazed over as if she were lost in thought. I initially dismissed it as stress. The local bakery where she worked had been struggling, and I assumed the pressure was getting to her. I tried to be supportive, offering to help with the bills, suggesting a weekend getaway, but she brushed me off, saying she just needed time. Then came the phone calls. Whispered conversations in the hallway, a panicked hang-up when I entered the room. Bronwyn claimed it was her sister, Isolde, dealing with a family emergency, but something felt off. Isolde lived a simple, predictable life. Emergencies were rare. I tried to ignore my unease, telling myself I was being paranoid, that my love for Bronwyn was clouding my judgment. But the nagging suspicion persisted, a tiny seed of doubt planted in my heart, slowly taking root and poisoning my peace. The final week of October was particularly brutal. Bronwyn started working late, claiming the bakery was short-staffed. She came home exhausted, barely able to eat dinner before collapsing into bed. I felt a pang of sympathy, but the hours didn't add up. The bakery closed at 6, yet she wasn't home until after 9. When I gently questioned her, she snapped, accusing me of not trusting her, of treating her like a child. I backed down, ashamed of my suspicions, but the unease remained, a cold knot in my stomach. The turning point came on a Saturday. I had planned a surprise for Bronwyn, a picnic in the woods, her favorite spot. I woke up early, packed a basket with her favorite treats, and wrote a love note to tuck inside. But when I went to wake her, she was gone. Her side of the bed was cold, the sheets undisturbed. Panic seized me. I called her sister, her friends, even the bakery, but no one had seen her. I was about to call the police when I noticed a note on the kitchen counter. Gone to Isolde's, it read. Will be back late. The note was a lie. I knew it in my gut. Isolde lived an hour away, and Bronwyn wouldn't leave without telling me properly, especially if she was planning to be gone all day. A wave of anger washed over me, followed by a crushing sense of betrayal. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I decided to drive to Isolde's, hoping to find Bronwyn safe and sound and put my fears to rest. The drive was agonizing. Every mile felt like an eternity, my mind racing with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. When I finally arrived at Isolde's quaint little house, I noticed something odd. Bronwyn's car wasn't there. I knocked on the door, my heart pounding in my chest. Isolde answered, her face etched with confusion. Alaric, what are you doing here? Bronwyn isn't with me. Her words hit me like a physical blow. I stammered, trying to explain, but Isolde cut me off. She told me she was spending the day with you. Alaric, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it wasn't good. Bronwyn had lied, not just to me, but to her own sister. The knot in my stomach tightened, twisting with a sickening dread. I thanked Isolde and drove back home, my mind a whirlwind of confusion and anger. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being played, that Bronwyn was hiding something big. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a car parked down the street, a sleek silver Jaguar I didn't recognize. Curiosity piqued. I parked my car and walked towards it, trying to get a better look. As I got closer, I saw someone inside, a man. He was leaning back in the driver's seat, his eyes closed, a smug expression on his face. Something about him felt familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. Then I saw her. Bronwyn. She emerged from our cottage, her face flushed, her hair slightly disheveled. She walked towards the Jaguar, a smile playing on her lips. My blood ran cold. I watched in stunned silence as she leaned into the car and kissed the man, a long, lingering kiss that shattered my world into a million pieces. The man pulled her into the car and they drove away, leaving me standing there alone in the rain, my heart ripped from my chest. The man in the Jaguar was Caius, a wealthy businessman who had recently moved to our village. He was charming, charismatic, and I later learned a notorious womanizer. He had been a regular at the bakery, always flirting with Bronwyn, making suggestive comments that made me uncomfortable. I had dismissed it as harmless banter, never suspecting that it would lead to this. The next few days were a blur of anger, grief, and disbelief. Bronwyn returned late that night, acting as if nothing had happened. She claimed she had spent the day with Izal, that she was tired and stressed. I confronted her, my voice shaking with rage. I told her I knew about Caius, about the jaguar, about the kiss. She denied it at first, but when she saw the look in my eyes, she broke down, confessing everything. She said she had been unhappy for a long time, that our life had become boring, predictable. She craved excitement, adventure, something more than the quiet routine we had built together. Caius had offered her that, a glimpse into a world of luxury and passion. She claimed it was just a fling, a momentary lapse in judgment, that she still loved me. But her words rang hollow, empty of sincerity. I couldn't forgive her. The betrayal was too deep, the wound too raw. 20 years of love, trust, and commitment shattered in an instant. I asked her to leave, and she did without a fight. She packed her bags and moved in with Caius, leaving me alone in the cottage, surrounded by the ghosts of our past. The divorce was swift and painless. Bronwyn didn't contest anything, eager to start her new life with Caius. I didn't ask for much, just the cottage and my clocks, the only things that still held any meaning for me. I threw myself into my work, spending hours in my workshop, repairing and restoring antique clocks, finding solace in the rhythmic tick-tock, the steady passage of time. But the pain lingered, a dull ache in my heart. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had been a fool, blind to Bronwyn's unhappiness, too naive to see the warning signs. I started to resent her, to hate her for what she had done, for stealing my happiness, for destroying my life. Then, one day, I received a letter. It was from Caius' wife, Alaric. She had found out about the affair and was furious. She had hired a private investigator who had uncovered a string of similar infidelities. Caius had a pattern of seducing married women, promising them a life of luxury, then discarding them when he grew bored. Alaric was planning to expose him, to ruin his reputation, to take him for everything he had. She asked for my help, offering me a chance to get revenge on Bronwyn and Caius. I hesitated. Revenge wasn't my style. I had always believed in turning the other cheek, in letting karma take its course. But the thought of seeing Bronwyn and Caius suffer, of making them pay for what they had done, was too tempting to resist. I agreed to help Alaric. I provided her with information about Bronwyn, about their affair, about Caius' promises. I even testified in court, painting a picture of Caius as a manipulative predator, a man who preyed on vulnerable women. The trial was a media circus. Caius' reputation was destroyed, his business ruined. He lost everything, including Bronwyn. She came crawling back to me, begging for forgiveness, claiming she had made a mistake, that she still loved me. But I was done with her. I had moved on, found a new sense of purpose in my work, a new appreciation for my own worth. I told her it was too late, that I couldn't trust her, that I didn't love her anymore. She left, heartbroken and alone. I watched her go, feeling a pang of guilt, but also a sense of satisfaction. I had gotten my revenge, but it didn't bring me the happiness I had expected. The pain was still there, the wound still raw. But it was different now, less intense, less consuming. I realized that revenge wasn't the answer. It didn't erase the past, it didn't heal the pain. It just prolonged the suffering, keeping me trapped in a cycle of anger and resentment. The only way to truly move on was to forgive, not just Bronwyn but myself. It took time, but eventually I did. I forgave Bronwyn for her betrayal, for her selfishness, for her lies. I forgave myself for being naive, for being blind, for not seeing the warning signs. And I finally found peace, a quiet contentment that had been missing from my life for so long. I continued to work as a clockmaker, finding joy in the intricate mechanisms, the delicate balance of gears and springs. I even started teaching classes, sharing my passion with others, helping them to appreciate the beauty and precision of timekeeping. I never remarried, but I wasn't lonely. I had friends, a supportive community, and a sense of purpose that filled my life with meaning. Years later, I received another letter from Bronwyn. She was sick, terminally ill. She had lost contact with Caius, who had moved on to another woman. She was alone and afraid, facing the end of her life with regret and remorse. She asked if I would visit her, if I would forgive her one last time. I hesitated. I had forgiven her in my heart, but I wasn't sure if I could face her, if I could bear to see her suffering. But in the end, I knew I had to go. I owed it to myself, to her, to the love we had once shared. I visited her in the hospital. She was frail and weak, her once bright eyes now clouded with pain. She apologized for everything, for the affair, for the lies, for the hurt she had caused. I told her I had forgiven her, that I hoped she could find peace. We talked for hours, reminiscing about the good times, the happy memories, the love we had shared. When I left, I felt a sense of closure, a weight lifted from my shoulders. Bronwyn died a few weeks later. I attended her funeral, paying my respects to the woman I had once loved, the woman who had broken my heart but also taught me the importance of forgiveness. Life goes on, even after betrayal, even after heartbreak. Time heals all wounds, or at least it dulls the pain. I learned that love is a precious gift, but it's not always enough. Sometimes people make mistakes, they stray from the path, they hurt those they love. But forgiveness is always possible, and it's the only way to truly move on, to find peace, to live a full and meaningful life. The rain outside has stopped now, and a sliver of sunlight is streaming through the clouds, illuminating the intricate workings of a grandfather clock. It ticks on, a steady reminder of the passage of time, of the enduring power of love, loss, and forgiveness. I'm closing my eyes now, ready to sleep, and I'm thinking about the lessons learned the hard way. Remember, dear listener, that even in the darkest times there is always hope for healing and a brighter future. Never let the pain of the past define you, and always be open to the possibility of forgiveness. Good night.